check, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. All right, just checking to see if you can hear me and see me okay. Okay, looks like everything's working. Just say hello and let me know where you are, if you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you might be. And cool. All right, Tom is here. How you doing, bud? Bucket is here. Good to see you. Mike is here from Binghamton, New York. Very nice. Rockin' Rob is here. Rafay from Dubai. How you doing, bud? Glad you're here. Rasta is here. Keith is here. Chester is here. Very cool. We got all kinds of people. James is here. Jane is here. Eric is here. Jeff is here. How you doing, Jeff? Ryan, Joshua, Kidder, Chaos. My name is Rick. How you doing, Rick? Jess is here. Jesse is here. Paul is here. Daywalker is here. Dan is here. My goodness, we have all kinds of people. Timo from Finland. How you doing? Kevin is here. I have the chat over here too, so it's a little bit easier to see. Brandon from Indiana is here. Ganesh is here. How you doing, bud? Tom is here. Cool. Well, what we're going to be doing today, everybody, welcome to another week. Welcome to a Monday Guitar Motivation. Devin is here. How you doing? Bruno is here from Belgium. Nicholas is here. Well, what does that say about Joel? Let's see here. Glad you work with Joel Stevenette. Joel's a great guy. I actually just talked to him this morning as well. So if you do talk to Joel, tell him I said hello again. So anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to continue on a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago where we're going to talk about alternate picking versus economy picking and how that can benefit you in your playing. Okay, so in order to do that, let's just talk real quick here about what the difference is and how they both work. Hello, Ting. Hello, Jan. Lewis is here. Brian. Ragnus is here from Estonia. Very nice. Bob is here. Michael is here. Martin is here. Andres is here. The Musical Pro is here. How you doing? Good to see you. Joshua's here. Bill is here. Very nice. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is great. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is talk to you about alternate versus economy, and I won't make this a really long conversation today because I know you have to get back to your life too, but let's just talk about this super quick. So I'm going to change my camera angle here. So let's say I was playing a 3-note per string pattern. I'm going to start up here on 10. I'm going to play 10, 12, 14, 10, 12, 14. Okay, now what I'm playing here is essentially just E minor. I'm playing the notes of an E minor scale starting on the 10th fret here. Now alternate picking says what I want to do is I want to pick down, up, down, up, down, up, down the entire time. So if I was playing 3 notes on each string, which is where you find this a lot when you're playing, whether it's diatonic, pentatonic, 3-note per string, anything like that, but generally we do this a lot when we're playing 3 notes on a string, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm playing 10, 12, 14, 10, 12, 14. And then I'm playing 10, 12, 14, 11, 12, 14. And then I'm going to play 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. You can always go back and watch this when we're done. But I'm just playing the notes of an E minor scale in a position, we call it. Okay? So as I'm playing this, I have to decide how I'm going to pick this. Now I'm using what's called alternate picking, which means I'm going down, up, down, and then on the next string I'm playing up, down, up, and then down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So really what's happening here is every time I shift strings, it's irrelevant to my picking. My picking just wants to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down the entire time. That's what I want to do. So regardless of the fact that I'm shifting every 3 notes, it doesn't affect the fact that I'm playing down, up, down, up, down, up the entire time. Now it feels a little awkward at first, and so what we tend to do as teachers, this goes all the way back to one of the Paul Gilbert videos, which was absolutely crucial for a lot of us when we first started learning how to shred back in the 80s. It was called Intense Rock. And what Paul would teach would be this thing where you go, and again, you could go anywhere. I'm just going to the 12th fret here, and I'm going to play 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15 that I just showed you. But instead of playing the whole thing, all I'm going to focus on is 12, 13, 15, and 12 right here. So if you see right there, what I'm doing is playing 12, 13, 15, and then I'm playing this 12 right here. So I'm playing down, and then this up. And that's a great way to start just getting used to being able to play down, and then an up on this new string, because that's kind of the hardest part when you first start learning how to alternate pick, is getting that up on the next subsequent string. But it works great, and this is the point of the conversation today. Let's say I was playing that up and then I want to go back down. So I'm going to go 12, 13, 15, 12, 15, 13. So I'm just making a little what I always call a round robin. So you can hear I'm playing it in kind of a triplet format. Da 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 da. And what I'm focusing on is that this note right here is a down, and this note right here is an up. So when I go down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, you would take that and you would set your metronome and you would play it about 45,000 times over and over and over. And that's how you develop your speed and your accuracy. But that's a whole other conversation again, is all of those sorts of things. I just want you to understand the idea of alternate picking. It doesn't have to be fast. It can be whatever you want it to be, okay? So let's take that idea and apply that to the scale that I was doing, okay? So as I do this, you'll notice my pick is going down, up, 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 over and over and over. So really, what happens when you're alternate picking is you're doing two groups of three, or a group of six. So as I play down, up, down, up, down, up, that's one group. And then that's another group. Now, the notes themselves are going to change relative to the position you're playing in or the scale that you're using or whatever, okay? You see, so I can develop, as I play, that group of six as I play. And of course, that's how you start getting faster at all this sort of thing. And again, this isn't about speed, although it is about efficiency, isn't it? And efficiency sometimes does lead to speed. So that's what's great about alternate picking. If you were trying to down pick all of this, there's only so fast and so smooth that it would actually be, right? Which is why it's nice to develop this alternate picking. Well, that brings us to this next question is, what is economy picking then? Well, economy picking is like alternate picking, but really what's happening, the biggest difference is that every time you shift strings, instead of going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, what you're going to do in economy picking is go down, up, down, 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 down, up, down. So every time you move, you're starting with a down. Now, why would that be? Well, the reason is because as I'm doing this, if you think about it, when I end this down, that down at the end, all I'd have to do is push that pick through the fifth string of the first note of the next string on the fifth string there. Sounds like the Addams Family. Anyway, so as I play, I'm now doing down, up, down, down. Okay, so I have down, up, down, down. So now every time you pick through, you're going down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, like that. Now, if you kind of move back and think about this, you're still kind of technically alternate picking. It's just that the economy part of this is taking the last note of the previous string and the first note of the next string, and it's making them both a down strum. So you're still going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, but you're getting two downs. You're getting two different notes for the price of one motion of that hand. So you're getting that, if that makes sense. Now, if we look at it from the scale perspective, it's just whatever feels most comfortable for you. If I just go and I alternate pick them, that feels fine. If I economy pick, which is down, up, down, down, up, down. Sorry, I played a wrong note there. That's fine too. Either one of those would work perfectly. But let's look a little bit deeper and figure out when this would be beneficial to us. Okay, so let's take this scale that I'm using right now. Let me zoom in here. Hey, Scott is here. How you doing, bud? Brian is here. Scott Saylor, Scott Lamone is here. Paul is here. Very good. Awesome. Okay, so let's keep going. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that same scale, this one, and again, whether you're economy picking, alternate picking, whatever works for you, okay? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add an arpeggio in between, kind of layered over the top of this. So I want to start off playing a scale, but then I'm going to shift into an arpeggio. So here's what's going to happen. This is just one example of a million examples, but let's say I was going to play 10, 12, 14, 10, 12, 14. And then what I'm going to do is from this 14, right there on the 5th string, I'm going to go into a 12 and an 11 and a 14. So I'm playing this arpeggio right there. So I'm playing 14, 12, 11, 14. So if I was alternate picking, the first problem I run into here is I go down, up, down, up, down, up. Well, I've just left off that 14 on an up strum, which means I got to run back to get to this 12 and finish off that arpeggio. So the basic idea when you're learning how to do alternate picking, economy picking, sweeping, legato playing, I do it all at the same time as most players do. It just, you figure out what works best. But if you think about it, if the pick is moving the wrong direction to where you want to be going, like if the pick is moving this direction and you want to be playing up here, you're going to have to jump over and get back. So the point of all of this is that if you can learn as best you can, sometimes you don't have a choice, I suppose. But most often, you're going to try and find a way of being able to make that pick move in the direction you want it to go. So let me go back here. If I play this and I do down, up, down, up, down, up. Scott Matthews says, is economy picking sweep picking? Sweep picking is economy picking. It is. So if you're doing a sweep, you are doing economy picking over multiple strings, which is what we're going to see right now, Scott. So as I play this, instead of going down, up, down, up, down, up, and having my pick up here, which I want to do this arpeggio that's coming up, okay? What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to start off doing economy picking, which is down, up, down, down, up, down, which puts my pick at a down at the end. And now I'm ready to continue on with a down, and then I'll do an up on that 14. So it looks like this, nice and slow. You see that? So I'm going down, up, down, down, up, down, down, down. I'm pushing through. So again, I have to do some planning. I mean, this is what practice is all about. But if I knew that was coming, it would have made more sense to do the alternate, or excuse me, the economy picking to lead to that arpeggio, which is a sweep. And again, sweeping, the term sweeping comes from like sweeping with a broom, where your hand is doing, it's really like strumming, but you're slowing it down so you can hear each note of that chord, of that arpeggio, if you will. So as I play, see, I can drop into that arpeggio right there with that economy picking, which is ultimately sweeping, is what it is, if that makes sense. Okay? So Joshua says, practice, 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 and pray. There you go, Josh. Jeff Jarvis says, Eric Johnson economy picks in Cliffs of Dover. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think most people do it to a certain degree anyway. It's just, when you look at it from the scale perspective of playing the scale all the way through, it might feel really awkward. But you might have already noticed the transition. If you're playing a scale and you're trying to move into an arpeggio or a sweep per se, you've got to figure out what the best way of moving into it, not just doing that's great, but you've got to get there because you're coming from there. So always remember, what I always tell people is, it's not just the lick or the pattern or the sequence or whatever it is you're doing right now. You always have to be aware of where you're coming from and where you're going to. And that's not always easy. And even when you're improvising, I'm not sure why that was so hard to say, but when you're improvising, you might not be cognizant of what's coming or that sort of thing. But the more you do of this sort of thing, the more your hands automatically make choices. So if I made a choice of an alternate pick, I probably wouldn't move into that arpeggio, you see. I would have gone somewhere else. Just because I call these escape routes, but it's basically when I get there, my pick is already in a different motion, so I probably wouldn't have gone to that idea. Had I started off with an economy pick, it's very possible that that would have been one of the probabilities that I would have had that could have come up. Who knows, right? I mean, there's all kinds of things I could have done. But that's the trick with all of this is the more comfortable you get, not only with techniques and licks and, all these different things, but it's the way you move around the fretboard. The more you get used to moving around in the different ideas you have, the more, even subconsciously, the choices that you can or cannot make depending on what picking attack or, pick design would probably be a better way of saying that, you're using at that moment, whether it's economy picking or alternate picking. So let me show you a smaller version. Again, I don't want to waste all your time here, but let me show you something right here, okay? So let's go back up to the top here and you'll see a nice example of this. So if I took this first example I showed you just a minute ago, you see I'm using true alternate picking right there. And then I turned it around. And again, using true alternate picking right there. And then I showed you this. Right, so I'm playing 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15. And if I wanted to keep going, again, alternate picking's working great because if you look at this, when I play 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15, when I get to the end, I'm on an up, which pushes my pick upward, obviously, so it's ready to pick down on that second string again. Now, if I turned it around and went this direction, again, the alternate picking works wonderful because I'm starting on a down and I'm ending on a down. Everything's working out great. But let me show you where the problem comes in. Let's say I did something like this. So now what I'm doing is I'm making a pattern where I'm going to go up in fourths. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from the next note, I'm going up 4. And from the next note, I'm going up 4 from there. So it sounds like this. Now I could alternate pick that just fine. And it works just fine. But if I want to get it faster, I wind up doing an economy pick to this. And this is why a lot of people will notice, they call it circular picking, and people will see me doing this. I'm doing this partly because when you're economy picking, sometimes I have to slow down a little bit to make everything sync, and if that's the best way of putting it. So when I do it in a circular motion, it slows down my pick just a little bit, if that makes sense. Let me show you what I'm doing here. So what I'm doing right here is I'm going to start off doing down, up, down, and then up. But at the end here, so I'm doing a down, I'm doing economy picking right at the beginning. So I'm going down, up, down, down. And then this note's going to be an up. Now that doesn't work, that doesn't jive with the thing I just told you with the pick going down and then having to come back up. It's not very efficient, but watch the rest of this. So now those two are both downs, you see? So I have two downs here, and then this up, and down, down, up, down, down. So I'm using the economy picking to get those two downs each time between each string. So right there I'm doing down, down, and then an up, and then down, down, and then up on that note, then down, down. Okay? Now, hopefully that makes sense, okay? It's kind of tricky and it takes a while to get used to, but it's just understanding that sometimes when you're playing, whatever it might be, let's say I'm over here and I'm going, and I want to drop into, again, an arpeggio or something. Okay, whatever it might be that I'm doing. Let's see, I'll do this. So here's what I'm doing. Just trying to make something up here. So as I go, I'm playing 5, 7, 9. There's my 7, and then I'm playing right there. I'll play 5 and 9, And then right here, I'm going to play 7, 8, and then 7 and 10. Now, this is an example of where I get to the 7, 8, and the 7 and the 10. I might just do a hammer-on from 7 and 8, and then 7 and 10, I would probably pick both of those. You see, so now all of a sudden I'm incorporating economy picking with some legato playing as well. So there's lots of different things like that that I would do when I'm playing. Let's see here. I need to have a way better pick accuracy to do any of this, Jesse says. And it's true. I mean, it takes time to learn how to do these sorts of things. And I'm summarizing a lot of practice in a very short amount of time, but I just want you to understand how it can be beneficial to you. If you're just learning how to alternate pick, or somebody had explained to you about economy picking, now might be a good time to look at both of these and the similarities and the differences between them and how they could benefit you. I don't really, even incredible guitar players, you look at like Frank Gambale, who is a master economy picker. There's all kinds of them out there, but I always think of Frank. And it's not that he doesn't alternate pick. Of course he alternate picks. But in order to play the way he plays with the phrasing that he uses and the patterns that he uses a lot of economy picking. Somebody had mentioned Eric Johnson earlier. Eric Johnson would most certainly use some economy picking. Again, I would dare to say most people probably do. It's just making you aware of the difference and how it could benefit you, and at least be aware when you're playing something, if you wind up finding that the exit strategy out of whatever this idea is into the next idea isn't working for you, maybe you could rethink that and see if something like economy picking would help you better with that. So anyway, hopefully that helps you, gives you something to think about for this week to work on. Take care, stay positive. If you get a chance, head over to guitar-zoom.com, and there should be a link somewhere nearby here that you can check out the guitar membership, that sort of thing that we offer at GuitarZoom. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. Stay positive and keep practicing, and I'll talk to you again next Monday, all right? Everybody, take care.